How
And
did you
that
prepare?
person,
How did you prepare to do that? I mean, who guided you, and what gave you the confidence and
no,
the
these things,
boldness to
no, no, no,
approach
no.
your
Nobody ever
father?
has that. Nobody ever has that. You play it by ear. The thing about being young is that you're young and immortal, and you don't quite realize the danger of certain situations that you might be in.
Marrying someone who's 30 years or more older than you are. Did you consider that as a
No, that's
factor?
not unusual, actually, because
Right.
in a traditional environment, this is something, I'm being uh, born and raised in the village. This is something we used to see every day. You would see chiefs that had maybe 4 or 5 wives, and then, you're going
So,
for
so he wasn't worried about the age difference.
myself.
No, your father.
Um, I think to some extent he might have been worried about the age difference. It's just that he felt that my husband was a man of the world and had so much experience and so forth. And, of course, he had this unenviable reputation of being a ladies' man. So my father didn't think that this was going to be something that was going to endure.
And he was also at that time your father's political associate, wasn't he?
Yes,
You were in the
yes.
same, political
Political
party.
parties, yes,
And,
yes.
what did he have to do?
Well, as is routinely customary in matters like this, you have to keep sending emissaries to, your prospective father-in-law to tell him this. We've come to deliver this message. We're interested in somebody, a damsel in your home, and so forth. And he sent several of those emissaries, and we used to call them contingents because, he would send them, they would meet with my father. My father would say, no. And he kept on, he kept on, he kept on. He was relentless. It took a while.
Another bold decision you took was going into politics. Let's even look at your political appointments. First, you became special assistant to the former president
Senior
on
special assistant.
senior special assistant
Yes.
to the former president on the diaspora. And not long after that, you got appointed as ambassador to Spain. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. How did you deal with that?
For me, it wasn't actually, I didn't consider that much of a challenge. I didn't consider that much of a challenge based on the experience that I had had. And of course, working as the president's senior special assistant on diaspora matters opened up such a great vista for me in terms of interfacing between Nigerians abroad and then their government at home. So I learned quite a lot about diplomatic matters. And of course, like you might say that I come from a family of lawyers. We have had stints, actually, in my family where diplomacy is concerned.
I'm still talking about your late husband. What are perhaps maybe one or two of those exciting moments you had with him?
I remember one particular incident. He had traveled to one community, and it was getting late, and he hadn't come back. They were traveling back, and then they ran into armed robbers. And the armed robbers, because they had a roadblock, stopped. The driver had to stop. And then suddenly, these hefty-looking men with the guns and rifles stepped out from the dark and came to the vehicle and barked sternly, "Get down." He refused to get down. And then the man said, "If you don't get down, I'm going to shoot you. Who the hell do you think you are?" And he said, "I am Ojukwu." And the man got a torch, shone the torch into his face, and screamed excitedly, "Ah! Oga! Ah! Na our Oga! Oh! Na our Oga! Oh!" And so many of the robbers that were actually still inside the bush rushed out. And they came. And then at that point, he had stepped out of the car and they were all shaking.
He told those stories.
They were shaking his hand. They were so excited. So excited, actually, that they accompanied him. Apparently, there was a pickup vehicle that was parked by the side of the road, owned by these robbers. They jumped into the back and with their driver accompanied him because they told them that there was another spot where their men were operating.
Really?
So they got to that spot, shot up in the air, and then took them as far as the toll gate coming into Enugu, and then, turned back. But you know what's funny about that? Whenever he would do something that I found not pleasant, I would stand by the door and say to him, "Ogandiori."
What does that mean?
Which translated means the king of robbers.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And then he would turn around and say to me, "Munye Ogandiori."
I remember him saying, anybody can say what he likes, right? He's got the honey, the bee can fly away.
He always had very witty one-liners
Yes.
like those.